In today's Leeds news, conflicting Kouyate reports, German on trial, Leeds interest in international defender, Farke under pressure and international round. Morning folks, welcome back to The View. Jer here with your news on Wednesday morning, the 16th of October. And there's a few little bits popping around. There's some more news likely to come out over the course of tomorrow and Friday. Parag Marathe is expected to sit down with the Leeds United Supporters Advisory Board, and likely topics of conversation will be Allen Road development, the current situation in the table, and possibly January transfer window as well. So we'll have to wait and see what comes up there, but likely to get some information coming out of that, which will give us some meat on the bone, hopefully, of what the plans are, what's going on with the Allen Road redevelopment. We've got the basic information, but I think we're all waiting on the bigger bits of information to get excited about and see where this will go. There are some conflicting reports this morning on the Cheku Kouyate deal as well, and some possible January transfer rumours starting to pick up already. So we'll start off with the Cheku Kouyate situation. It's been a very confusing couple of days for Leeds fans on this one. On Friday, the boot room and Graham Bailey broke a story saying that Cheku Kouyate had been at the club for probably about a week. Most local journalists backed that up by saying the player had been at Thorpe Arch. But they said that a medical would be scheduled for Friday last week and the player would sign for Leeds United on Saturday. As we know, that didn't happen. Then Football Insider, whose track record with Leeds United news is like 0% accurate, but they said that actually the medical was taking place yesterday and the player would be signing for Leeds yesterday. And again, as we know right now, there has been no noise or information coming out that that has actually happened. So as it stands right now, we don't know where we are with this. Graham Smith spoke earlier in the week on Inside Ellen Road podcast about the issues that might be causing Leeds to be hesitating around the possible move. And he said the following: the match fitness thing is probably Farke's biggest concern. You have to say, with a player like that, it's not even if he were playing regular minutes until May and then had a few months off. You actually saying when was the last time he played regular minutes. Last season was so sporadic, 208 minutes across the entire season. So you actually have to go back to 22-23 season. And even then, he had a big layoff with a hamstring injury. The difficulty is extreme. Now, if you're to believe reports this morning, again from Football Insider and a few others, they're saying that Cheku Kouyate failed the medical yesterday and that deal is completely off and Leeds have moved on to other targets. We don't know exactly if that is the case. We haven't heard that from the more reliable journalist, and we'll likely get an update from Daniel Farke at 2 o'clock today when he sits down to face the local media. It's bound to be a conversation topic that comes up, whether Daniel wants to talk about it or not. He's unlikely to say a player's failed his medical. Clubs in general don't do that anymore because that could potentially damage a future move, or clubs that might look at the player might not be interested in the player then, and it can affect his career. So it might just be a case that Leeds say, wasn't for us, had him on trial, we've moved on to other targets. So no doubt we'll hear from Farke today and we'll get some more meat on the bones on that as well. And moving on to another player that could be already at the club, and this is again according to some aggregate sites and some unnamed sources, so very much take this with a pinch of salt. It's very much in the rumour territory, but these are claiming that Leeds United have an unnamed German star, is how it's labelled, currently on trial at the club. Now, the obvious player to jump to would be Christoph Kramer, the former German international World Cup winner, who was out of contract, was playing last season at Gladbach, and has a relationship and has previously played for Daniel Farke. So that is the obvious one to jump to. Again, this might be something that comes up today in the press conference. He may be asked about it, but knowing Daniel Farke, he'll probably try and stay away from this. Daniel Farke, as we know, is risk averse to free transfers. He doesn't believe that they're ready to come in and contribute to the team straight away. So what's the point in bringing them in? You may as well work with what you've got. So it remains to be seen if that will affect this, if these players have to really prove that they're fit and ready to go for Farke before he makes a decision, or if it's a case that the medical was a situation with Kouyate and now it's just a different player on trial. But it could also be a case that the reports of the weekend of Kouyate looking for more money could have popped up as well, and Leeds have just decided to have a little shop around, weigh things up and see what other options are out there, and maybe a better options become available. But again, speculation at this point, but we'll have to wait and see. But if they do state that an unnamed German star is on trial at Leeds right now, we have to wait and see if that is true. In a deal that may have some truth in it as we start to approach the rumour territory for the January transfer window, with Max Vober and Ethan Ampadu both out injured for quite some time, Leeds only have James De Bio in reserve as a cover for that position. So Leeds are likely to look towards the January transfer window. Also, with the January transfer window approaching, we are likely to start hearing rumours around Max Vober's future at the club again. Whether they're true or not remains to be seen, but they're likely to be popping up. According to the Mirror this morning, they state that Leeds United are one of several clubs that are already looking at the possibility of a central defensive option come January. Leeds, Everton and Fulham are all said to be interested in Steaua Bucharest 28-year-old centre-back Joyce Dawa. The player himself is being described as a late bloomer in footballing terms and has played most of his career in the Ukraine, Romania and Latvia. Now, he did stand out and a lot of clubs sent scouts to watch Dawa playing in their 1-0 win away at PAOK in the Europa League, and has come in for some very, very strong praise in that game. A man of the match performance by him as well. The player's representatives believe he can play at the highest level in England, and the player himself is said to be interested in playing in the Premier League. Leeds could give him a pathway to it. The transfer kind of looks like a Leeds kind of deal. It's a league that won't cost Leeds a huge amount of money should they decide to go in there. And the owner of Steaua Bucharest has also said that the player can go if the fee for the player is met. The 28-year-old has also been capped 9 times for Cameroon, but the current belief is that Fulham are slightly ahead of everybody else with this and may have actually met the player last week to have a discussion with him. But right now there's nothing formal on paper, there's nothing in the media around a done deal, and this will likely move into January. But the club owner, as I said, did say the player could leave if a transfer is agreed, and a club stumps up the cash that they want for him. So a central defender, it might be something Leeds are looking at. They could probably do with one more in there, and one more experienced one in there. We just don't know what is going to happen with Verber. We don't know, the injury history of Pascal Struijk as well. You've just got to be careful with that, and you'd hate to see Leeds leave it short coming into the second half of the season, but we'll have to wait and see with that one. And then moving on to a story coming out of Germany this morning, and I would take this with a little bit of a pinch of salt as well, but according to Sport Bild in Germany, they claim that Daniel Farke is under pressure at Leeds regarding Leeds' stuttering start to the season, as they put it on paper. The report says that the Leeds board were expecting a stronger start from Leeds this season in Daniel Farke's second year, plus the fact that they had input money into the club for transfers for him this season. Now, that's a question mark. Again, you can debate whether there was enough money went in this summer. You can debate whether the sales were bigger than the players that have come in, but that will have to be seen at the end of the season when we've got a full year to look back at the players that did come in. But the report says with that money coming in, expectation from the Leeds United ownership is Premier League promotion. It very clearly says that promotion is expected by the ownership. The report also says that with Jurgen Klopp's new role as part of head of Red Bull Soccer, his first job will be to assess all of the Red Bull clubs. Now, whether Leeds United get pulled into that as a minority club remains to be seen, but you would imagine Leeds would take the good parts from Red Bull and the options to get experienced people and scouting networks and all that and bring that part in. But as discussed last week, things are not as bleak as people may make it out to be. Leeds are only 3 points off the top. A win on Friday night could very likely see Leeds jump into the top 2, and the narrative changes again and everything is fine. But Daniel Farke will be under consistent pressure this season, and every decision he makes will be scrutinised to the nth degree. Every time there is a loss, a draw or a disappointment, the people who want Farke out will automatically run straight to a dismissal of the manager. Those who are slightly more patient will hang on there as long as Leeds are in the mix. And that will be the question. Should Leeds not be in the mix come January, we'll see how strong the bond between the 49ers and Daniel Farke is. And we may see if the pressure of getting promoted is a main factor come that time of the year. Will Leeds dip back into the transfer market to do enough to get us over the line? Or will they look at making a change if Leeds aren't in the mix? If they are in the mix, back the manager and have that big strong push towards the end of the season. But as I said, it will be a case of every single disappointment will be excessively scrutinised, because the expectation this year is promotion. Leeds do not want another year in the Championship, and if Leeds do spend one more year in the Championship, it's likely to be a fire sale in the summer. And then finally today we wrap up with some international news before the players return to training this week. Nanto played 77 minutes in Italy's under-21 game against the Irish under-21s. A 1-1 draw in that game. Nanto did get an assist for Italy's first goal, but did blaze his penalty over the crossbar against Ireland. You're not scoring against us, Willie. Not this time. Put 2 past us last year. Brendan Aronson played 70 minutes for the US and started the game, but didn't get an overly complimentary report from the US press after the game, but it is the first start for the US he's had in some time. Ao Tanaka played 90 minutes for Japan in their game. Interesting game for him. He's been mixed reports. One report gave him a 5 out of 10, was pretty critical of him. Another report gave him a 6 out of 10 and was very positive about his performance. So mixed reports in the Japanese press. And Junior Firpo played 90 minutes for the Dominican Republic and scored again. That's 3 goals in 2 games for Junior Firpo and an assist as he plays in the number 10 position for the Dominican Republic, as Joe Donoghue dubbed him yesterday, Junior Firp goal. So maybe there's a hidden number 10 in there and we just weren't aware of it. He's been trying to tell us for quite some time by popping up there all the time. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Just a reminder, folks, the members stream tonight on the members tab will be out tonight. Myself and Andrew Stats Dalton talking about Howard Wilkinson. The podcast will be out today as well. for everybody else, and the news will be back tomorrow, and the match preview tomorrow for the game coming up as well. So lots to keep an eye on the channel. I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Check out the podcast live later on this evening, and the stream in the members channel as well. Different times, but they're both there. You can check them out later on. I will talk to you tomorrow. See you later.